Ambassador Crocker, your contention that the policy never changed, that the original policy to go after the people who attacked us on 9/11 and prevent them from attacking us again, that has never morphed into nation building, I think is accepted by virtually no one. So I think it's important to state that at the outset. The al-Qaeda threat had dwindled to a handful of fighters. There was absolutely no one giving us intelligence saying we were an imminent threat from anyone in Afghanistan. It had definitely morphed into nation building. The lesson of the two-decade debacle in Afghanistan is not that we didn't stay long enough, it's that we stayed too long. The lesson of nation building in Afghanistan is not that it works, but that in Afghanistan it conspicuously failed. Billions of dollars were spent on nation building in Afghanistan. In the end, hundreds of thousands of uniforms, automatic weapons, armored personnel carriers, helicopters, and planes were unceremoniously surrendered. The 300,000 strong Afghan military and police laid down their weapons with barely a whimper. The president absconded and all the while maintained, "Hey, I didn't steal that much," as he fled. And you sit before us telling us that the lesson of America's longest war is that we didn't stay long enough? After 20 years, that we didn't practice strategic patience? In the Afghan papers, your candid opinion was less supportive of the Afghan nation-building experiment. You complained that the Afghan police force was utterly incompetent. Others have commented on the graft of the Karzai family, on the drug dealing and outright theft by his brothers. Others have complained of provincial overlords so caught up in fleecing their subjects that the people actually willingly invited the Taliban in. And you think the lesson is that we should have stayed longer? The Inspector General for Afghanistan has documented the abundant waste of taxpayer dollars. From a $45 million natural gas station to a $60 million hotel that was never built as the contractor ran off with the money. Later, in this experiment that you wish to strategically be patient with, we were sending $249 million in boxes of $100 bills every 3 months to Afghanistan. It's been admitted by experts even today, by members of this panel, that guess what? The aid doesn't fix corruption. You think sending $249 billion in $100 bills to Afghanistan every 3 months was somehow aiding and getting rid of corruption, and you want us to be patient? The lesson of Afghanistan is not that nation building works, but that it is a colossal failure. Afghanistan never was South Korea, and the parallels are scant at best. The lesson of Afghanistan is the same as it was for the British and for the Soviets. Stone Age clannish cultures are quite resistant to colonization and imposition of Western ways. Biden's exit from Afghanistan was a military catastrophe. No one can dispute that. It was an unmitigated disaster, but it doesn't change the lesson that nation building is a fool's errand. The lesson of the two-decade debacle in Afghanistan is not that we didn't stay long enough. We stayed too long. You've counseled that the U.S. should have more strategic patience. I hope that doesn't mean you also advocate for sending troops back into Afghanistan. Do you suggest that we should return to Afghanistan?
Senator, I do not advocate nation building. I said rather the opposite. The construction projects were a bad idea, badly executed. You know, the Afghans build their own nation. We can't do it for them. I never suggested anything to the contrary. I did say that our most successful programs didn't involve bricks and mortars and didn't involve widespread corruption. The assistance we gave directly to the Afghan people in terms of improved educational opportunities, especially for women and girls, and for much better health care. Now, look, I am not going to say and would never say, no, we made a mistake. We shouldn't have educated Afghans. We shouldn't have stepped up for Afghan girls and women and ensured that they had the educational opportunities to be a full member of their society. That isn't nation building. That's national security, Senator.
But you still
They
argued,
educated
but you
population.
still argued in the very end and up to this day that our mission was that was a national security mission to defend the country from Al Qaeda in Afghanistan. Almost no one argues that. People readily admit it morphed into another mission. That's part of the problem. It morphed into nation building. Sending over $249 million in cash every 3 months in $100 bills isn't exactly defending our national security. So I think your unwillingness to accept that the mission wasn't about preventing from Al Qaeda and was nation building in the end. Really, I hope people will discount your opinion that we should have stayed forever in Afghanistan. Thank you.